Hello everyone, CatWeazle here, welcome to the channel and welcome back to our second playthrough of Perdition's Mouth and Abyssal Rift, where we will be taking on scenario 2 called Anvil and Hammer. So welcome. Right, let's do an introduction. Hopefully it shouldn't be as long. We know all the basics now, so I should be able to whiz through it fairly quickly. So first of all, we're looking at the new board here. Now this is just the flip side of the board we used last time, and this is called the rubble room, as you can see up there. But one of the other things you can see, hopefully, is it's got a lot more monsters on it. Yes, there are 12 monsters on it. If you remember, during the introductory scenario we had 4. Now we've got 12. 2 of these aren't that bad. They're not going to actually cause us any problems as regards attacking us, and that is the 2 nests. There is a nest up here in an alcove, and there is another nest just here. What do? Well, they spawn insectoids. So when we get a spawn, if we're going to spawn an insectoid, they will come out here. Just similar with the cultists, the acolytes and the guards and what have you. They were spawning in these here, which are the actual trapdoors. But these are the spawn points for the insectoids. So those are the nests. What we got in addition to the nests? Well, we'll talk about insectoids first because we didn't see any last time, thankfully, but we are this time because there are 4 on the board. There are 2 bone worms already. There's one here. Well, I've placed it here. They have to start within 3 range of the nests. I've placed 1 here and 1 here. I think that will make it a little bit more difficult for our heroes. Our heroes will be coming in here, so it's going to be a little more difficult if we put a bone worm here and a bone worm here. We want to make them, you know, it's a bit easier for them to sort of get round here and attack our heroes. So that's where I've put those. In addition to the bone worms, we have retikas. There's one here and there is one here. So they will be a problem as well. Now, as far as insectoids go, they're not too bad. They've only got 1 health, all 4 of them. So hopefully we won't have too much bother with them, he says. But we'll see. So, what other enemies do we have? Well, we've seen them before. We've got guards and we've got acolytes. We've got 2 acolytes. There's one here and there is one up here. As far as guards go, we've got 1 here and 1 there. So, as you can see, a lot more enemies. The watchstone will be a lot busier and we'll get a lot more movement and we should get a lot more attacks, and that's even before the insect nests and the actual trapdoors started piling more out. So that should be interesting. As far as dungeon furniture goes, we do have 3 treasure chests which we haven't seen before. There's 1 down here, there's 1 here and there's 1 here. Obviously, if you can open those, they will have treasures inside. The clue is in what they're called. As I say, I'm not too bothered if we get our faces eaten off. So, hopefully, we'll be able to do a bit more. We will actually be able to open at least 1 of these, and you can see how that works. So, that's pretty cool. We have 2 doors. You've seen doors before. As in the first scenario, these are unlocked. They're shut too, but they are unlocked. There is one thing though. We have an acolyte exit here. If you remember, if an acolyte gets out of one of these exits, what will happen is the threat level will go up. In this case, all of these cultists actually have a key to this particular door. If they get through this door, they will lock it behind them. So it just makes it a bit more difficult. We will see locks because obviously the treasure chests are locked, and if this door gets locked, we will see how to deal with them. I won't explain it now. We'll see that when it comes to it. So we'll do it then. Right, is there anything else to mention? Well, yes, this is the entrance. Put a little like post-it arrow here. We'll be coming down here. This is the exit. So we need to get all the way around here and out of that exit. But it's going to be a little tougher than that, because we're playing the hard rules. Not only are we playing the hard scenario, we're going to play the hard rules of that scenario, which means we need to use these two things here, which are levers. We need to throw each of these levers in order to open the exit. We can't just scoot across here and get out, because we need to throw the levers. So that means we've got to come through this way, which obviously means it's going to take longer. We're going to have to waste action points to throw the levers, and then we're going to have to move this way to get out here. Now, we don't specifically have to come through this door. There is a way around here, but there is some special terrain. There is like a body pile or something here, so it's a bit trickier to get through here. But it's up to us. Do we go through the door, or do we go round here? If we go around here, we're obviously a bit nearer to that trap door. So if we get any spawns, they will spawn right near us. So that is another tactical consideration to take into account. Okay, I think I've mentioned everything. We're coming in here, we're going out here. I've mentioned the doors, mentioned the treasure chests, mentioned the levers, and mentioned the enemies that are on the board. Let's get on to the spawn pools. In our primary spawn pool, it's full of insectoids. We've got 2 more roticas, we've got another bone worm, and we've got 2 chelines. Now these are nasty. These can take 3 wounds, and as you can see, they're pretty much an insectoid tank. So these will be nasty if they come out. We could do with giving them the slip. In our secondary pool, that's not too bad. We've just got 2 acolytes and 2 guards. Not a problem. We've seen them before, so we should be okay. The reserve pool, however, has another Chileen, not nice, and it has a summoner as well, which are not nice. So hopefully we'll be able to get out of here before these come onto the board. It's going to be a bit trickier though. Okay, so that is the spawn pools. We've got another problem as well. We will go through that now, because I shall pick up Anvil and Hammer. Let's have a look. As you can see, it's hard scenario, it's 2B. Special. All cultists have a key to the door for the tunnel leading to 2B, as I mentioned before. They will lock the door when they enter the tunnel. On each primary spawn action, so it's a circle on the enemy watchstone, an additional bone worm follows the heroes and enters from 6Q. 6Q is where we're coming in. If 6Q is occupied by a hero, that hero gets an automatic wound and the bone worm pushes the hero to the nearest empty space. Now, this is a problem, because these bone worms are not coming out of here. They're coming out of the box. So it's essentially an extra spawn. No matter if we got rid of everything in here, these bone worms would still continue coming through, because they're coming from the box, not from the spawn pools. So again, extra enemies. This is why it's a harder scenario. I won't go through the setup, the primary, secondary and reserve, because we've already done it, but it's a bit tricky. I'll also go through the I'll go through the flavour text when we actually start turn 1. So there we go. That is the board. What heroes are we going to use? Well, we're going to use the same ones. Now, you can swap over if you wish, but the reason I'm not is I'm just getting used to these heroes. I've only started playing the game, you know, very recently, as you know, so let's stick with the same heroes. It's not perhaps the ideal group. I've realised that during the introductory scenario, in that obviously we've got a hero that can't be aided in Tyra, which makes her a bit more difficult to play, especially when we've got Olazabal, who is really good at aiding. The other problem is we have Elisa, and she doesn't like being aided either. Although, as Sean pointed out, that is my fault. In the introductory scenario, we weren't actually playing hard. We were playing standard, but I played Elisa hard. She only actually had to pull response cards in order to see if she could be aided if we were playing it hard. We were playing it standard, but I played it hard. What do you know? I got it wrong, but We are playing hard now, so we may as well carry on as we were. So she will actually have to pull response cards to see if she can be aided or not. So I've got a really good aiding character who has got 2 people with her who don't particularly like to be aided. So we'll have to see how we go on. But we'll carry on. As I say, I know the strengths and weaknesses of them now, and it's a bit easier for me. I don't have to learn a load of new special abilities and passives and stuff like that, so we'll stick with the same 3. Because we're sticking with the same 3, everything gets reset before this scenario. Unfortunately, that also means that Olazabal loses that hit point that she got back. You start again from scratch, so she loses that hit point. I think the thing is with Olazabal is she's carrying all that gear, she's got a load of gadgets and gizmos and what have you, so she's always like a hit point down. I suppose she's a bit tired through carrying it all or something. I suppose that's the rationale behind it. So she's back to 4 hit points, which is a bit of a blow, but never mind. Right, so we're back to square one. Nobody had any wounds that they carried over from the introductory scenario, so all we've got to do is we put all the cards back into the deck and we pick a new hand. So first of all, we'll do Tyra. So here's the deck, everything's back in again. We'll give it a quick shuffle, and she starts with 4 cards. So let's see what we get. So she gets Adrenaline Boost, we've seen this before, it's a combat card. You gain a fatigue and you gain 13 combat. Remove this card from your deck for the rest of the level. Kickstarter card. Nice start. Second is Herbal Remedy. We saw this as well. We didn't play it. It's a special. You are a hero within 1 range. Heals 1 wound. Super. Oh, Headbutt. Combat for 3. We saw that one as well. And her last card is Bloodlust. I think we had this as well, but we didn't play it. After this attack, make another attack against a different enemy. Then both of your targets attack you once if they are still alive. So those are her 4 cards. After her, it is Olazabal. She gets 5. The first one is Explosive Device. Again, another we've seen. Drop a small explosive. Your attack becomes an area attack with +2 combat against each figure adjacent to you, but it will also affect enemies, heroes as well as enemies. The second card is Bonesaw. We've seen this. Combat. Your attack's range becomes 1 to 2 and gains +5 combat. When you choose your target, draw a response card for each hero within 1 range of the target. This attack also targets each hero whose response card had an eye. So stay out of the way of a Bonesaw. We've got Grit, we've seen that. That's 3. We've got Engineering. Saw that. 5 for aiding. That's very useful if they decide to accept aiding. And the final card is Extra Steam, which is the 2 extra response cards. So those are her 5 cards. And finally, we have Elisa. She gets 5 cards as well. Oh, hang on. Teleportation, that'd be nice, but I haven't shuffled. So we'll have to shuffle again. And cut. And just hope we get it. No, Barbican of 5. Ooh, we haven't seen this before. But again, this is a good card. 4. You can use it for any symbol. So that'll be helpful. Second card is Lava Spray. So that is a special and it is a combat. That looks pretty good. Looks like a good spell. Then we've got Helping Hand. We've seen this one. Fourth card is Teleportation. We got it in the end. So excellent. Movement card. We can move diagonally. We can teleport up to 4. Very useful. So I'm thinking that'll be useful for perhaps getting to these treasure chests. So let's see if we can use it for that. But a useful card any time of the day or night, I'm thinking. And her last card is Fireball. Well, we used this to great effect last time, so it's good to have in our hand. So there we go. Those are our cards for our heroes for the start of the first turn. So I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else to go through. No, we've set everything up. You've seen the board. You've seen there are a lot more enemies. You've seen it's going to be a bit tougher. So that is it for the introduction and setup of Anvil and Hammer, our second playthrough of Perdition's Mouth, Abyssal Rift. So I hope you will join me for turn 1. Until then, it just remains for me to say thank you for watching. Thanks for all the subscriptions, for all the views and for all the likes. Thanks very much for all the help and support and for pointing out any errors. If I made any errors in the setup, please let me know and I'll try and fix them before we start turn 1. Anybody who's been across the board game links to upvote the site, thank you very much. And similarly, anybody who's gone on BGG to like a thread or, you know, like a video, anything like that, make a comment, thanks very much. Until next time and turn 1 of Perdition's Mouth, Abyssal Rift, Scenario 2 and Anvil and Hammer. This is CatWeazle saying toodaloo.